Oh, how I have missed you, my greatest creation. It's only been like 9 months, right? But that's right, folks. She is finally coming home. But before I can do that, I need to clean up my situation. See, I've been building bikes in this garage for the past couple of years, and the spare metal has been piling up. So today, I take a huge step in cleaning this stuff and just simply organizing it to make way for good old purple nurple. And also, for those of you talking junk about that Victory Magnum, me not finishing it, hey man, look at the saddlebag. See, I'm working on it. For those of you that don't know, this purple Indian Chief is gorgeous, right? But it didn't start off this way. I got this bike from the auction just like everything else. It was a clapped out mess. I rebuilt it, the engine, did a frame up rebuild. I took the bike to a friend that had an exhaust made for it, and it's been gone for a long time. This is not a freaking drill. My 2022 Purple Chief is finally coming home. I just got to clean up all this stuff to kind of prepare for it. The interesting part about a lot of this stuff, man, is that like technically you could fix this triple by just welding on a new stopping piece right there where the stopper was broken, and you could just get a new stem. But man, by the time I figure that out, getting a new stem pressed in and finding the correct stem for the bike, you know, I could just give this stuff to a metal recycling company, let them do what they do and clear off my shelf. Because what's going to happen is, you know, there's stuff that I just genuinely forget that I have. Like this is the bracket, the nacelle cover from Super Chief, right? From the black one. I forgot I had these, man. These are very valuable because I can splice the wires into some signals, and I don't have to buy any new wires or new signals. So it's little stuff like this that when you have all of your stuff just kind of thrown over there, I tend to forget what I actually have. For this hub that comes off of the spoke wheels, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this yet, but with all of these individual spokes, maybe one day I can have these powder coated and do something really funky, or have the hub powder coated. But like this individual screw that I took off the nacelle cover, remember, like each of these screws is like $1.99 to $2.99 a piece. So having these, man, it's so simple. But having those, I need to come up with some type of inventory system so I know what I have. Because a lot of times, man, I will end up buying screws that I feel like I need. And I got screws like down in that box in there. So yeah, that's why this stuff is, I should have done this a long time ago. But, you know, it is what it is. This triple, for instance, what's interesting about it, this side and this side, if I remember, this is the triple from my Chief Dark Horse, the one that's purple now. This is actually a perfectly fine triple. The screw holes down there are a little shaved off that hold the wires, but the bolt holes, I've been saying screw instead of bolt. Everything threads in like it's supposed to, so this triple, it still works. These exhaust cans, I've actually bought these off of a friend. Yeah, so I bought this exhaust. I wanted to keep them in case I got another Chief to rebuild just for a quick flip. Also, this is the reason I kept my original Scout exhaust other than decoration. Ultimately, I scrapped them both. Yep, all of this came out the garage. And honestly, it's kind of crazy seeing it piled up like that. I had a lot of stuff. All right, I just took those parts to my local scrapyard, and some of you might actually laugh at this. So I gave them 200 pounds of iron and steel and aluminum. The aluminum being some of the cast aluminum parts. The wheels were the bulk of the weight for the aluminum, but they gave me 6 cents per pound of steel and iron, which was the bulk of it. I think it was like 184 pounds. And then they gave me 60 cents per pound of aluminum, which came out to, in total, $15.72. So I was perfectly fine with just giving it to them because, again, I wanted my space to be clear of all that junk. Some of it could have been repurposed, but right now I value having a clean space so I can move around. It got to where I was stumbling over stuff as I went over there to get tools off the wall. I couldn't find anything. I still need to inventory a lot of that stuff. So it benefits me most not having it in the garage. But I know some of you will say, that's cheap. They should be paying you more for that, but that's just where we are with the economy, I guess, when it comes to the price of metal. But either way, it's done, and now it's time to get this frame, which would have only they probably would have only given me like $5, if that, for this frame. But this frame for Chief is headed with me to South Carolina. Okay, slight correction. They gave me 4 cents per pound of iron and steel, 183 pounds, $7.32. Aluminum wheels, 14 pounds, 60 cents, $8.40, $15.72 for all of that metal. We are not done in here, man. So much more work to do. I should have taken these, to be honest, but I feel like I can still use them. Rabaconda. So if you remember, the reason I have on gloves is because, and I should have probably had a mask on, that is the frame from the white Super Chief that had the water damage. So all of that mildew is kind of still stuck on this thing. So yeah. It's not exactly straight, but I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. With that work done, I can say that the garage has lost about 250 to 70 pounds, including the frame and that bent swing arm that I put on the back of the truck. Those are headed with me on my trip. And so now the garage is a little bit leaner, but there's still a lot of work to do to get this place back in order. There was multiple bikes on that shelf, and yeah, it's been out of hand for a while. But now I have a 5.5 hour drive to South Carolina to pick up Purple Chief. So I'm gonna have an early morning. After a 5.5 hour drive, not only did I make it, but we took the frame off the truck. And then I saw that 200 horsepower TTS supercharged Road Glide. It's getting some internal work done, so it's gonna be faster. And then there's my baby. My goodness, was I starstruck. It looks just as good as I left. The only difference is it now has a hand-built and authentic C3 V-twin exhaust. You didn't have to do that.
I've done it a lot of times before. So.
All right, folks, I made it to the C3 V-twin headquarters. However, Ryan already put the bike on the truck. He wouldn't let me do it myself.
So he insisted. But anyway, I got caught up not filming all of this stuff. I actually ended up riding a 400 horsepower booster built by C3 V-Twin and TTS over in the UK. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But the bike's loaded up. Now it's time to get back. And very thankful to Ryan at C3 V-Twin because we now have the exhaust on the bike. And he has everything he needs to continue making these because he now has the frame from the Super Chief. So yeah, let's get back.
All right, it is the next day, 800 miles later. Chief is finally back home. I was not up to getting the bike off late yesterday. So today we're gonna get this bike off. I'm gonna give you a first startup 9 months after I dropped this bike off. Ryan made sure this thing wasn't going anywhere. That flake in that freaking powder coat. My goodness. This camera does not do it justice. Gets easier and easier every time, but you still have a slight heart attack. But now, he's on the ground in Alabama. All right, before we move forward, I gotta give a quick shout out to my folks over at Patreon. We built this little community inside of this big community, and each active patron gets a spot on my wall. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link down in the description. Let's get back to it. Let's do a startup of this thing. Actually, you know what? Let's finally do this. It's freaking dusty. Now imagine riding that.
I felt that like in my ear, like.
But imagine riding that without earplugs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's loud.
That was loud as shit.
It's definitely loud. That's the loudest. Yeah. Oh. Man. This feels good. Welcome home, baby. All right, with that, Chief is home. Even though the bike looks really good just as we left it 9 months ago, there's still a lot of work that I need to do to get that bike done. When I sent that bike off, I only put like a mile on it, made sure that it was good to ride. Everything wasn't even bolted down because I knew that the plan was to get that exhaust made, and then it spiraled into my guy at C3V Twin building more exhaust and other custom components for this platform. But stay tuned for more stuff coming with that Chief. Just like everything else, I got to make it roadworthy. There's work to do. But anyway, thanks for listening to my story. Hope you learned something. I will catch you in the next one. I'm happy. Peace.